According to the Democrats, Trump made a deal with them to continue DACA without any support from them on the border security wall. The White House is claiming that this is false, and President Trump is saying that they had a discussion, not an agreement. So, which is the case? At this point, it's extremely difficult to tell because there's absolutely no possible way of knowing what was said during this meeting. The fact is that Trump is having meetings with Democrat leadership. Why is he meeting with Democrat leadership? Let me tell you what I think. The president's party for the last 9 months has shown their complete irrelevance in the legislative process. I'm not even talking about DACA, which we haven't heard a peep out of Republicans on unless it was to slam the president. What I'm talking about is any legislation. The media and everyone else consistently portrays the president as an unhinged liar. But let me run something by you folks. The Republicans have run on the premise of repealing Obamacare for the past 7 years now. They've sent numerous bills forth in those years to repeal it, knowing full well that they'd be rejected and completely rejected. What they did was they hung their hats on the certainty that Hillary Clinton would become president. But once the Donald got in office, all you heard were crickets. So who's the liar? The fact is the Democrats don't have the power to push legislation through the House or the Senate without the help of Republicans. And the congressional Republican leadership, they're blowing an opportunity of a lifetime to undo the damage that the left has inflicted on this country. But the Republicans are afraid. They're completely afraid. But afraid of what, folks? It's certainly not you or me, the voter. They know exactly how we feel and what we stand for. So, if not us, then who? The donors. The donors. That's who I think. That's who. The money. They can't run the risk of stitching those deep pockets shut. Congress needs to stop running for office and start legislating. If Congress doesn't start providing funding for the wall, for enhanced border security, for tax reform, then the Republicans themselves will be the obstructionist party, and to their own president. But the big talk right now, folks, is DACA. Trump said he's ending the DACA program, which was illegally initiated under Obama, which, of course, he did in order to bypass Congress. He said he's doing it with a 6-month delay in order to give Congress an opportunity to legislate it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's their job to do so, not the president's. But the only ones interested in this are the Democrats. Why can't our leadership lead? The only thing I've heard from leadership or about leadership on this is Paul Ryan coming out saying that he got a call from White House staff saying that, well, they assured him that there was no deal with the Democrats. That's it. That's all we've heard from our own leadership. I guess the Republicans are still kind of in mourning over Hillary Clinton losing the election. They can't bring themselves to get anything done. Democrats, of course, they're in mourning because their agenda gets put on hold. But the Republicans are sad because they wanted her as a scapegoat in order to not have to legislate anything. They could just blame nothing getting done on a Democrat obstructionist president and just skate on by like they've been doing. As far as this meeting goes, don't get me wrong. People, including myself and Republican voters, love seeing Trump stick it to Ryan and McConnell. But what people don't want is a Trump-Democrat alliance. This is why leadership needs to stop stonewalling their president and act. The media is just wetting themselves with excitement over the speculation of Trump losing his base over all of this DACA talk. Trump's base trusts him, though, like they've never, ever trusted a politician before. And I mean ever. The media and the left's disdain for his voters, and at a very personal level, moral and ideological level, have only proven to galvanize their support for him. They've so linked the hatred they have for Trump to the hatred of his voters that his supporters see and view an attack on Donald Trump as an attack on themselves. And since most of the attacks on Trump are on a hyper-personal level, these supporters are also upset, angry, and offended on a very, very personal level. At this point in the game, it would be near politically impossible for Trump to give up on the wall for DACA or for anything else for that matter. I want to believe that Trump has to know that this would completely destroy his base support, which again is the number one objective of the media. The number one objective is to completely separate Trump from his supporters, divide and conquer. Now, about DACA. I know that there are those in this country who want our borders wide open at all times. I also know that there are those who want these DACA immigrants to all be deported. The fact of the matter is that to many of them, this country is all that they've ever known and really known. To some of them, this language is all that they even speak. I don't believe that we can deport all of them, nor do I believe that it would be right to deport all of those who were brought here as children and raised here. However, we can't just act like nothing's wrong about this situation or just grant blanket amnesty. That won't work. I think maybe we give some thought into something like a special permanent visa or permanent work visa to those DACA children. They can remain here. They can contribute to the workforce. They can not vote. And they cannot gain or collect entitlement at the federal level, with the exception, of course, of Social Security. If it's even still there come time for them to collect, which, of course, I believe is mislabeled as an entitlement anyway. It's money taken by the government and owed back to us. Also, these permanent visas should also have a back door to them. Something to the effect of an eligibility for deportation in the event of something like conviction of a violent federal crime. But I am dead serious, folks, dead serious about permanent ineligibility to vote. Both the Republican leadership and Democrat leadership, they both want a sort of blanket amnesty for these illegals for a variety of reasons. The Republicans for cheaper labor for their big business donors, and the Democrats because of a lock on them as a voting bloc. This permanent visa idea, I believe, would sort of take a chunk or a bite out of both of them. The Republicans because they'd be able to work legally, therefore forcing labor not to be able to take advantage of their status as illegals, and the Democrats because this would eliminate them as a voting bloc, or a legal voting bloc, should I say, because let's face it, that's never stopped them before. Seriously though, I'd like to see how Democrats would respond to something like that. The children who were brought here illegally, through no fault of their own, they would get to stay here completely legally. Democrats would even be able to reap the benefits of tax revenue from them and their employers through the years. Who are we kidding? They would never support this because the only thing the Democrats ever wanted out of this was the vote.